Welcome everybody to another edition of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega, joined by the boss Chris Blackheart. We're live again Thursday night. You got that smirk in your
No,
face. You got that look in your
I
eye.
was just going over the YouTube numbers with members of the back office, and
Yeah.
we're almost there. We're at 9:33. So
So
spread the word.
subscribe.
We're
Leave us a comment. Leave us a good comment. Leave us a bad comment. Just leave us a comment. It doesn't matter.
Yep, subscribe. Tell everybody because the fact that we talk about what New England wants to talk about and beyond.
Beyond. That's a good. It's a good segue. But lots of things happening, lots of things going on. We're gonna talk in general here. There's not a guest this week. It's just me and you rambling off. So
Which,
that's what we're doing.
which ironically, when we have open conversations, we get some of the highest ratings.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, we'll get right into everything that's been going. We're on the road to March anniversary, 17 years. Showcase Pro Wrestling live at the Taunton BFW Hall, March 15, 7:47 p.m. bell time. Lots of matches already were announced and signed. What are some of the matches we're gonna see?
Well, before we tell everybody, just let you know the links are open. Tickets are starting to go now, which
Yeah,
is good.
yeah,
It's almost like, oh, I want to hear something. It's like WrestleMania. You don't need to know the matches
yeah,
for you to know that you want to go.
yeah.
You
So
know, and with that being said,
when you say the gates are open, the links are open,
.com.
showcaseprowrestling.com, SP Wrestling on all your socials. But let's get back to it. People want to know the matches. What are the matches that are already signed from what happened the last time we were in Taunton?
All right, let's go over I think the favorite match right now.
Favorite?
Student versus teacher. Cabral versus Spratt.
Yes. So
With a little D-Rex down here.
I don't know. I think we're beyond the D-Rex down there.
Well,
It's more of a Cabral versus Spratt. Danny, it's already fed up with all the abuse, with all the stuff that I told him from the beginning, and lots of people told him from the beginning. Spratt was just using him.
mentorship and
And
education.
education on
Wait,
what?
wait, wait. See, you know that some days the young kids don't understand what you're trying to teach them.
Yes, but
And then later they review and like, oh yeah, I wish I didn't do what I did.
well,
And the
sometimes
fact that young Danny at the end of Taunton last week popped Spratt in the mouth, I don't think that was very nice. He should have just said, hey, I want a match with you. I want the title. I kind of helped you. Well, he did. Let's be honest with you. That little trio did help Spratt win the belt, which
yeah.
is a very effective tool that as other people in history have done.
Well, when you say it wasn't very nice, you're being biased. But nonetheless, Danny did what was right for him finally,
Well,
and he is challenging Spratt for the SPW Sons of Liberty Championship, and we're gonna see that match at March versus
hmm
17, student versus teacher. Another match that was signed already, and we've been seeing these guys battle it out, and lots of conflict going on between those two guys, is the Showcase Pro Wrestling Heavyweight
hmm
Championship as Brother Moon Reverend defends against Big Mac Thompson in a stretcher match. So that's going to be a hard fought battle there with two of the guys that are leading the ranks for the
hmm
heavyweight champion.
I think this
Brother Moon
year's
Reverend.
match here, if I'm not mistaken, the last 3 years, Matt has been in high profile matches, great showing, but he's come a little bit short.
Yeah.
I think this is the time Matt Thompson Lilly steps up and he finally gets the big one.
Well, stretcher match, as you know, the only way you can win is by putting your opponent, strapping them to that stretcher, and running that stretcher to the back of the building where the markers are going to be, and that will declare you the winner. And whoever does that will hopefully Matt be the new
hmm
SPW champion, or will Brother Moon Reverend
Well,
retain the
we should
title?
start doing like a betting page on that. What are the odds? Over or under? Who's going to win? Who's not? Maybe we'll do that next week. We'll list all the matches, and then we'll start putting some betting. Wait, is that legal by the way in the state of Rhode Island? Do we have to go through like the state or something?
I don't know.
All right, we'll find out.
I think we'll find out, but
Do you know what it is? We'll call it bingo. We know bingo's legal, okay? Showcase bingo. That's what we'll call it.
another match going back to March vs. 17 coming up this March 15 is the gauntlet for the gold.
Hmm.
That match has already been signed, and we
Always
already brought out new speculations and rules on that match. A little bit of a change this year.
modification. We talked to the championship committee and we thought, hey, we've been doing this one way. It's not really a big change. It's just a different change.
I think that makes the match more interesting, and it switches things around a little bit. So, whatever the number of individuals that will enter the gauntlet, it will come down to the last four, and it'll be
Yep.
sudden death rules
Yep.
where pinfall, submission, and over the top will count. Before the final four is only elimination over the
Over the
top
top.
rope, both feet hitting the floor. That's how you eliminate
Yep.
your
And
opponent
with
there.
remember the key component to that, it is a Royal Rumble style with the fans choosing the order.
Yeah,
Totally random. Everybody's always on their game because of that, because you have to be. And I like it because usually now we're in Marchiversary mode, so typically anyone who's started training, usually about 6 months from now, they're usually ready to go to start doing something in the ring in a live capacity.
yeah.
So we do have some young, fresh talent in there, plus some returning people, plus some newer people entering it.
Yep, anybody can enter the gauntlet. We sometimes see some old faces. We sometimes see some new faces. We sometimes see surprises. So
Yep.
this year, no exception. You have to be there March Anniversary 17, March 15 at the Taunton BFW Hall to find out who's your favorite going into that match.
On the gauntlet,
Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't have one because from all the years of watching it and being in it, it is a crapshoot. I think it literally comes down to the draw. And ironically, when you look back at statistics, those who have chosen number one have been the most successful of winning.
Who
It
knows?
doesn't look like great odds,
Who, who,
but
who, who knows
I
what
don't know.
number a certain individual is going to draw this year when I enter the gauntlet?
Oh, so all right. So Don Vega is actually putting his name in there officially. Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
we'll find
All
out.
right.
We'll find out what's gonna happen. I know, we got an open challenge at March Anniversary for the Showcase Tag Team titles. You know, not that I'm concerned. I am excited to
Hmm.
see what the surprise will be. I mean, I've been surprised before, and I'm not scared or anything like that. I'm just, like I said, excited to see what the surprise will be come March Anniversary.
And then the last match that we officially have signed on there, we have Rambo
Yes, that we've been seeing
versus
that feud going on.
the Mr. Number One, Sean Candido.
Yep, the notorious Rambo Godfrey is putting his streak on the line as he takes on the superstar Sean Candido. Uh, we saw this past event in Taunton. Candido took the CTW title. What's gonna happen to that title? He went out the building. He currently has it in his possession.
I
So
don't know. I know he is going down to the worst place in the world soon.
yeah, we're not giving out free plugs here. So
So that's what everyone who knows me knows the worst place in the world. So we may see it somewhere down there, possibly.
maybe it'll be swimming with some crocodiles. Who
That
knows?
could be a positive.
But
Or Candido could be swimming in his Crocs with the crocodiles.
maybe, anything could happen, but that's another big matchup. Rambo's got the edge. He literally has the age going his way. He's got the strength. He's got the youth.
Nine,
Candido has the experience.
90 and 0.
Yes, we'll find out what happens then. Some people are saying Candido has bitten more than he can chew. I mean, there's only one way to find out. We're gonna find out at March Anniversary.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. Uh, moving on. Before we get to that date on March 15, we're actually back on March 2nd at the Showcase Pro
Yep.
Wrestling Training Center and Arena, 126 Main Street in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. I mean, that is the final event before the big one, before March Anniversary. Things could happen. Maybe that belt will reappear
Well,
there.
and
Who
that's the
knows?
key part. This is like the last Raw before WrestleMania.
Yes.
So this is where people want to make their mark, and some people are pissed that they're not scheduled officially on anything. Like I'm not saying anybody names Mr. Badandi, but I know he's not very happy. But people forget Dan. He's come back from an injury. I
Yeah,
know his tag team partner's not happy, but
yeah,
you're on the tag team division. Your partner's down.
yeah,
Kind of hard to step up.
yeah. Definitely.
But why don't we do this? Anyone who hasn't been to Woonsocket in 12 months or more, if they comment on that, screenshot it, we'll give them free tickets.
Free tickets. There
Free,
you
all
see
right?
it. If you leave a comment here on the live, even after it's post,
Yep.
leave us the comment with your name, and we will give you a free ticket for the next event, March 2nd, at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena in Woonsocket. Now, speaking of free stuff and all that great stuff that you just mentioned, we were at the Fan Fest this past Saturday, the
That's right.
17th, and that was a great event.
Yeah.
Got to see a lot of old friends, got to see a lot of individuals there. How do you liked it? You joined me there. You
I
browsing
did.
around.
I
You
spent
were you
about
were
about
hugging some people, shaking some hands,
shaking
kissing
some.
some
I
babies.
was I was
So
kissing a lot of babies to say the
yeah,
least.
yeah,
But no, Joe Bruin, the staff of Motor Seats,
yeah.
fantastic event, bigger than ever.
Hmm.
Which is fantastic, and I got to give him credit. It's a one day, it's a big event. Some members of the showcase person staff was helping there and
Yeah,
working there. They did really well helping them. So the flow, the fans were really
yeah,
there. So I think the idea of it is phenomenal
yeah.
and just shows that people like pro wrestling.
Well, people like pro wrestling. People like what's going on recently. I mean, like I said, a lot of great people there. A lot of old friends that I saw. Tony Atlas was on hand. It was always good to see Tony. Sabu was on hand. Great to see him all the time when he's not throwing up. Uh, but yeah, it was a great time. Dennis Rodman, I got to meet him. I told you a couple weeks
Did
back.
did
I was
did
pumped
you
for
take
Dennis.
any videos for Big Dave?
I couldn't
Because
take any videos,
all
but I
right,
did take a picture with Dennis.
all right, it was Big Dave's weekend. That was his one gift, but he would rather go to another country, I believe, with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
can't beat that. But definitely, great time there at the Fan Fest. That was number 9, but we're getting into number 17 coming up,
hmm
March anniversary this March. Uh, lots of things happening, and like I said, we mentioned a lot of matches. One match that is always controversial,
Oh,
one
we
match
forgot
that is
about that one
always
too.
hard hitting, and probably your least favorite.
And I don't like it. I don't like
Well,
I don't
it's
like it.
about the people. The people love it. The people like it, and we're having it again. The big ladder match, and in this instant, it will be for the U2 World Championship,
hmm
and we have 6 competitors, six-pack challenge, challenging Dr. Roger Williams. The winner will take it all. Showcase Pro Wrestling U2 World Championship ladder match. So, 2 participants already announced. Uh, the beautiful Jay Evans will be in the matchup.
Oh,
And which one was the other one? I believe it was
hmm
AZ. AZ enter the six-pack challenge. So, 2 new competitors
Yep.
going up against, a veteran of Showcase, Roger Williams. We'll find out if he. We've been seeing him sneaky
Eat.
getting his belt back
hmm
because, as some of you might know, and for those that don't know, the YouTube Championship is 24/7 rule. You can literally
hmm
lose that belt at any given moment, anytime, any place with anybody. So we've been seeing a lot of that, but Roger Williams has gotten the last laugh and has managed to retain the belt in those situations.
I mean, I was surprised that he won it, and I'm surprised that he's retained it. And I'm surprised that every time he has a match, he comes out with it still.
Well,
So I got to give him credit. Some days they say you can't figure out people. I can't figure out how Roger Williams keeps winning and still is a champion
well,
because apparently he's going to therapy. Maybe it works.
oh
He's
maybe, yeah.
not the same guy he was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
He's
I
little.
heard he's got some PTSD from all the malpractice and you know,
Well, he has changed. I mean,
he,
look at he's doing really well in singles.
yes.
Which is good.
He's
Um,
single.
I hope so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mrs. Roger Williams, if you are out there and you need help, blink 3 times.
Oh, yeah. Photogenic memory there. Blink 3 times. Get a copy for your brain
Yeah,
there. Some people don't have brains, so
yeah.
it uh, it works each way. But yeah, a lot of wrestling happening, and that brings us
Uh,
to this Saturday night.
I almost feel like that. Well, you can announce it then. I like to do some investigative reporting.
Saturday night, we're in the debut of Royal Crown Wrestling at Results in Boston, Massachusetts. That card stacked up to the gills, like Danny says, like to stack it up. Uh, you're going to see a lot of new faces, a lot of new matches. That's what we're working towards. And I think Danny has it on the screen right now. But Royal Crown Championship Wrestling, Royal Crown Wrestling at Results in Boston, Massachusetts. 7:30 p.m. bell time. Tickets at RoyalCrownWrestling.com. Go check that out. I'll be teaming up with my cousin, the Caribbean legend Savio Vega, to take on the Union, Blaze Haram, and Victor Banco. And like I said, tickets are on sale now at RoyalCrownWrestling.com. Big matchup, Women's Championship, as the IWA Puerto Rico Women's title will be on the line as Evie De La Rosa defends the title against newcomer to the New England area, Ivy Malibu. So you don't want to miss that. That's going to be a great matchup there, women's matchup. All the info again, RoyalCrownWrestling.com. What do you got?
All right, I think we should tell a story. So, the first event,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, they're running 6 events
Yeah.
throughout the whole year,
Yeah.
every other month.
hmm
All right, what's the story of it? What is
Well,
the story? How did this come about? What is the inside scoop of how
The
it
inside
came?
the inside scoop is somebody with a vision. He loves wrestling. He's seen some of the product, obviously in New England, as far as the production, as far as the matchups. He wants a new concept. He wants new matches, and we're working towards building new talent and new matchups. That's the first part. And second part is the production side. So we're gonna see a lot of great stuff coming from Royal Crown Wrestling when it comes to production and when it comes to matching up different talent from different areas in the United States.
So the question I have, and when I was walking around FanFest, people were saying it because it's that time of year. People's like, "Hey, it's tax time. You know what
hmm
that means." Everybody wants to run a show,
Yeah.
and I looked at them. I said, "Well, I don't know the whole details, but
Yeah.
I know this is not
Yeah,
something that was put together
this is not
on,
a fly by night.
yeah,
This is
on
not
December
something that
31st when I got
yeah.
my last pay stub."
Yeah, no, this is not definitely not something that was put together last minute. This has been a lot of months of hard work and thought and like like you see if you go on a website, we already have listed each event with each top star that's going to be coming in to the show. So this is something that, like I said, we've given a lot of thought and a lot of hard work and a lot of matchups that you're going to see are different matchups. You're not going
Mhm.
to go to a different company and see the same individuals you would see in X, Y, and Z. You're going to see different matchups. And, I think the fans are really going to get their money's worth. They're going to get a bank for their money when it comes to going to our events.
So you got mixed talent. You're going to bring in national talent.
Yes.
You're bringing in women, different women,
Yeah,
and
women from all over
and
the country. You're
and
gonna get to see
Evie. I mean,
different women.
Evie's been hot, man. She's been doing pretty good in the states, but destroying it down in
Yeah,
Puerto
Puerto
Rico,
Rico.
which is
She's the
awesome.
number one female wrestler in the island of Puerto Rico right now, having tremendous matches, even hardcore battles with like light bolts and barbed wire and all that type of stuff. So who knows what you're gonna
Uh,
see this Saturday night in Boston?
do you know where?
Make sure you check it
Do you
out.
know where social media are offhand that we can plug?
Evie De La Rosa.
Nice and easy.
Evie De La
Yeah,
Rosa,
go
you
and
look it
find it,
up.
and even
If
Sabia.
Danny could pull it up right there, the match card. We're both individual. That's the website now. There's Evie De La Rosa's Instagram page, or you can find all the information there. This young hot star that is coming in, IB Malibu, is also, you know, ranking up in different areas of the country, and I think Ivy's gonna have a tough task against this young lady that is coming in.
There's nothing
So
wrong with that.
it's definitely gonna be a great encounter there. Uh, what else is on your mind? I mean, we've been rambling a lot here.
Well, again, going back to what's the history of the promoter?
Well, what I could say is he's somebody that wanted to be in the business. I believe he took a shot at training at some point in time, but then he deviated to go and do business and other ventures. But
Hmm.
now he's back, and we met through doing some business earlier mid last year. And yeah, he wanted to put this project together, and like I said, we've been working hard ever since. And the people just have to show up. They're gonna see all the work and the effort that's going into this. It's not tax season. Let me buy a ring. Let me
Yeah,
buy
no,
a
I've got some great discounts and
yeah,
clearance on
yeah,
rings.
yeah,
Usually divorces. I do really well with divorces
yeah.
and rings.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely not the case here. But if you do want to find out for yourself, February 24, which is this Saturday night, results in Boston, Massachusetts, 7:30 p.m. start time there. RoyalCrownWrestling.com for tickets and all the info. You get to see all the roster in there, and we're gonna be adding more. We got some of the talent from Showcase on our roster, like Revan is part of the roster.
hmm
Daniel Cabral breaking out loose on his
yeah,
own
which is
is
very
part
good.
of the roster, and the educator Christopher Spratt as well. One of the guys that is part of the roster there at Royal Crown Wrestling. So you're gonna get to see those guys mix it up with a lot of different guys
Perfect.
that you've never seen before. And I'm gonna run down the card. If you could pull that card out real quick there, Danny. Yeah, it's on the website. If you click on the show for this Saturday night, it should show the card, individual match cards there, I believe. But yeah, it's on the Facebook. Yeah, if you want to pull the Facebook there, Royal Crown Wrestling Facebook. But off the top of my dome, uh, like I said, the big one, tag team encounter. Savio Vega and myself will take on the Union in a tag team match. Danny Cabral takes on Sean or Stan Styles, I believe.
Stan
Stan
Styles.
Styles, which is an individual that's been around for quite
Hmm.
some time. He's got some controversial character, and I believe they're going to match up pretty well. There you see it on the screen. Evie Malibu takes on Evie De La Rosa for the IWA Puerto Rico Women's Championship. That's going to be a great match. Revan, the diabolical Revan, will take on Colton, new competitor coming in to the New England area. That's going to be a great matchup there. The notorious Rambo Godfrey takes on Brian Starr in the battle of young lions, I guess. The young, powerful lions. There you see it. Daniel Cabral takes on Stan Styles. I can't see the screen. Brian Bayside takes on the educator Christopher Spratt. Do we have more? All that and more coming up. That's our next event there. But a lot of the events are already listed at our website, RoyalCrownWrestling.com. So we move on to the ending of March after we already have gone through March anniversary to March 23rd. March 23rd, like I said, this month, these next couple of months are full of just wrestling,
You should wait till we get to April.
Wrestling is alive and well. March 23rd,
Yeah.
Powerhouse Wrestling returns to Leominster, Massachusetts at the Elks Lodge. That's a Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. bell time. On that card, you will get to see Enzo Amore returning to Powerhouse Wrestling. He will be in action as well as the New England return of the one and only Mr. Kennedy Ken Anderson, which for whatever reason has challenged me to a no disqualification matchup, and we're gonna be battling it out in Leominster. It's gonna be a great night. A lot of people announced for that card. That is Powerhouse Wrestling, Leominster, Massachusetts, the Elks Lodge, Saturday night, March 23rd, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Powerhouse Wrestling NE to get your tickets online now. I know that building, you know, usually gets packed when they have wrestling there, so you want to get your tickets early for that. What do you have, Chris Blackheart?
I don't know, a lot of plugging. I feel like we've been like a 27-minute infomercial.
Well, you got to get your plugs in. In between that, we're just shooting the
Well, a guy,
breeze.
Chris Francis in the chat room, has got a question. Is D-Rex going to be involved in that big ladder match?
Who's this?
Chris Francis.
Chris Francis. Okay, I see it here. I'm on my phone. No, the participants will be announced
Yeah.
shortly. D Rex is in the gauntlet for the gold. That's the matchup he's going to be involved in.
Well, we did talk about D-Rex, but some people don't realize that he is still a minor. And I am not sure that Mama Rex would sign off on her baby boy being in a ladder match.
Well,
So if I am wrong, Mama Rex, send a text.
yeah,
All
that
right?
that match has already been signed. A lot of the competitors will be getting announced shortly as time goes on. But yeah, he D Rex will be in action. He'll be in the gauntlet for the gold. I mean, if you want to break out and you want the opportunity of a lifetime, that's the match to be. The gauntlet for the gold,
Absolutely.
guarantee gold. Just like the title of the match. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
one question.
yeah, good.
All
Chris
right.
is actually, he's a new fan. He's been going to shows probably about 4 or 5 months. Had a birthday party down the Showcase for Wrestling Training Center short time ago.
Great.
So we thank you for joining us, Chris. Thank you for being a fan and enjoying the product.
So, like I said, lots of wrestling going on. Have you been keeping up with any of the mainstream wrestling, like the WWE? I know they got a big pay-per-view coming up in Australia, coming up this weekend. Have you been keeping
Mm,
up with that?
Usually, I'll catch typically on Monday nights. I usually catch with the last 30 minutes of it.
Yeah,
But I know past 2 weeks I've been missing some of it because of working on stuff for my anniversary at the training center.
yeah,
Um, so I do not. But his elimination chamber
yes.
is really kind of like the last chance to get that opportunity for WrestleMania.
So, talking about WrestleMania briefly here, what are your thoughts in some of the things going on? What are your thoughts in the main event with Cody finally getting his shot again at Roman Reigns? Do you think that match is actually going to happen? Do you think there's going to be a change? I mean, those teasers of a tag team match
Uh,
happening with The Rock. What are your thoughts on that?
all right, so now you tell me that The Rock is not Rock and Roman anymore.
That's why, if I'm not mistaken, that's off the table.
All right,
No pun intended. They're on the same team now, Chris Blackheart.
all right. So if they're on the same team, then why would they not do a tag match?
That's an
So do they
interesting.
do that match number one, as in like night number one, then
Could be.
night number two?
It could be interesting what
Yeah.
might happen there. If I was having any involvement, I know it's not the biggest thing for people to hear, but I believe Cody is going to come up short. I believe one way or another, Roman is going to keep that title,
Hmm.
and that's going to lead to that tag team match that I just mentioned. I'll just leave that there.
All right. So do you think Cody? Who do you think Cody would bring in then? So,
I
you,
mean,
all right. So, if hypothetically, right, if you ever booked pro wrestling,
yeah,
wink, wink,
yeah,
right. So, if you ever booked pro wrestling, you would be doing the big match for one of the nights
yeah.
is a singles match
Hmm.
that turns into a tag match afterwards.
No, like I said, I believe that there's going to be some involvement in that Cody and Roman match that's going to lead to that tag team match on the second night, or or vice versa. Well,
See,
it'll have to
I
be
don't
the
know.
second night,
Yes,
because
I mean, I think people want. Plus, the press conference was good.
yeah,
press conference is good. Got a lot of views,
Well, I mean,
lot of twists and turns to say the least on that
you've
one.
seen a lot of different stuff. I mean, they had that thing going around with Triple H wrestling Rock, and
Yeah.
a lot of stipulations there. I mean, another good scenario that I would see if it was possible, and they did have that tag team match. I mean, they're advertising this WrestleMania to be the biggest one
Mhm.
ever. You look at two guys from the era where wrestling was hot,
Mhm.
that being The Rock, who was his biggest opponent there, Steve Austin. Steve Austin has a
Yeah.
big history with Texas, with Dusty. What better guy to go and find to be your partner than Stone Cold Steve Austin? So, if
Yeah.
I was booking the card and it was possible, it would be Cody and Steve Austin against Rock and Roman Reigns. Uh, but again, we will see what happens there
Well,
and how that
I
goes
think if
about.
they're gonna go that route, I think they should announce it. I don't think you can wait that night to do it.
I mean,
Because
you've seen that before, where when Austin came back, it was a few weeks or whatever before they had that match with him or the segment with
Mhm.
him and
With the Owens
uh
last year.
yeah, with
Yeah.
Owens. Yep. So
Do you
it
think Damian Priest is going to cash the Money in the Bank on Seth Rollins on whoever?
I
Could be.
mean,
He's been holding that on for
he's
a
been
while.
holding that for a while, so there's a strong possibility that he might cash that in. And Rollins is to be announced as far as his injury. So then that looked like it was going to
So
be a match too. It looked like it could have been Cody and Seth teaming up against Rock and Reigns. So, you know, all that is up in the air. There are a lot of options to go with, depending on what they have available or not. So, I think WrestleMania this year is going to be really interesting.
well, I mean, there's a lot of hype to say the least. 2 nights, two big main events. I think. I don't know. I think they have to announce it has to be like Austin would be good. Seth. I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, they still got time. Still, still got literally a month to do it.
So,
And I think WrestleMania. Anyway, what's the tickets on that now? What's the tickets looks like?
tickets for each night?
No, not price. Oh, I don't even
Oh,
give me the
price wise,
pricing.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about figure to filling out.
No, there's still
Yeah.
tickets available for that. Uh, but I don't know what the scenario is as far as what the capacity is, but I'm sure it's gonna be up there. Uh, but then being in the Northeast, you get
Yeah,
everybody.
I still quite. I mean, okay, you were down there last time they were in the area at the
Yep.
same stadium, correct?
No, I was down at MetLife when they were
All
in the
right.
Northeast. Yeah.
So you okay.
MetLife, I think, is bigger than
It's bigger, but weather-wise,
Lincoln.
it's still the Northeast. You're still going in late March, early
Well, it
April.
was with that WrestleMania, which was WrestleMania 35, it was beautiful. The weather, it was comfortable. I mean, a little chilly
Uh,
at night, but nothing.
Beautiful. What? 44 degrees out?
I mean,
34?
when you're, I don't know how the temperature feels when you're waiting at Gorilla to go in front of 84,000 people. So I was pretty warm.
You're warm in the Escalade.
Yeah, I was pretty warm and ready to go. So, but it felt comfortable to me. I don't know, but it seems like they always pull it off, man. It's
Yeah,
just the
I know.
atmosphere. I mean, you go to football games and you're freezing your ass off, so this is no different.
Yeah, I don't know. I would book the stuff in warmer weather, to be honest with you, if that
Chris
was me.
Blackheart
I
again
would be.
complaining.
I would. I would be in Texas, Alabama. I would be in Florida, Georgia, Arizona, California.
Well, guess what, Chris Blackheart?
What?
The complaint department is closed. WrestleMania is in Philly, home of the best football team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't know who that is, but
All right, tough luck. Did they boo back there? Who boo? I ain't hear anything.
I didn't hear
Someone
it.
booed. Probably an Indianapolis fan. Who cares?
All right, so if you want to go now wrestling news, did you see the clip today with Austin Theory? You see that one?
I seen a video popped up with Austin Theory that he's having a match somewhere.
Well, I'm not talking about that one, Danny. I think did I share that on the training page? I think I shared on my link that he was doing an interview with a reporter,
Is this about the Vince McMahon?
No, it looked like he was just doing a report. It looked like he went to like a newsroom,
Hmm.
and the reporter started poo-pooing, I guess, on either the industry or the performance, which is ironic because just before I saw that, I shared the Doctor Death segment that.
So that Austin beat the crap out of him, or he
Oh
slapped
no,
him?
he yelled at him. He. Danny, can you find that? Can you find that clip of
Yeah.
Austin Theory and News? But he did say, he goes, look up Austin Theory, like confronts our reporter. It should be coming up, but no, he was pissed because it looks like he was trying
You know,
to.
for a while now that I'm, now I got corrected. When you first mentioned it, I thought you were talking about Austin Aries. That's why I
I say
said, oh,
okay,
a video popped up. He's having a match. Of course,
yeah.
Austin Theory is having a match. Uh,
Which one?
yeah,
That's probably it, yeah.
that's probably it
Yeah, it
right
looks
there.
like he was trying to poo-poo the industry, trying to poo-poo, um, what we do, the travel
Well,
schedule,
let's take a look at
professionalism.
that footage now. If Danny could get that plane.
I mean, it's fine. Like, you're
What
not
do you mean?
actually
What do you?
hitting each other.
Hold on a second. You brought me here and you're gonna talk to me like this?
Well, yeah,
What do you? Hey, no, man.
I mean, no.
Just because you're in charge of some shit here, man, don't mean you can talk to me like this.
I didn't mean to offend you. I'm just
Oh, you're saying what I do is
obviously,
easy,
like,
and you're in front of all your people in here talking about my job's easy. You couldn't walk a damn day in my shoes.
you see,
Got me in here, dude. Are you kidding me, man? I'll smack the shit out of you right now. I'm not playing around. Oh, bring me all the way here for some media, man. This guy's talking his head off, man. It's his problem, dude.
All right, that was great.
I like it. I was Dr. D. I just saw the clip of Dr. D, which I think was like 30 years ago.
So this is perfect that you went down this route because we're living in society and we're living in a world that's full of sympathetic. How would I word this? Uh,
I would say, it's a
it's
very
a very soft world.
soft, no consequences. You can do and say anything.
No, no repercussions.
You have no responsibility. And I give him credit because in his case, he was in public.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's not the full clip. If they had a full clip, we will share it. But
yeah.
obviously, the reporter said something to tick him off.
Well,
And he's right. I mean, we were just, you were a little bit late yesterday doing the training center, but
mhm,
Coach Ken was ironically talking about travel.
yeah,
And ironically, they're going to Australia. WWE's going to Australia.
yeah,
And Ken he was telling a story where he left from Boston, went to L.A., and then went to, I want to say is Bath, Australia.
yeah.
And he's like, man, this is taking like, I think it was like a
I
like
think this is
a
where this is
2 hour
I
day.
think this is where this is happening in Australia.
It is in Australia.
Yes,
And
that's
then
where that
yeah,
reporter
and
almost got
and he
slapped.
was just kidding because, man, I wonder what the farthest travel point in the world was, and that's what it was. It was like a 2.5 hour trip based on time zones. And then to find out the time of year he went, he was in four different seasons
Hmm.
that he hit between what he left here, what he came back here, and over there.
Yeah,
And now people are like, like Cody. I think there was something up online that came up that the average like top stars have like 100 matches a year. I mean, that's not even what it used to be. I mean,
yeah. It was like 300 plus back
it,
then.
it was 300 plus. Even on the Indies,
Hmm.
we were
You were doing over
100,
100. Yeah,
plus,
yeah.
and that was just on the weekend. So I don't think people realize the travel schedule, the dedication, because they're doing media, they're traveling, they're working out,
Yeah,
they're balancing their life with their family,
yeah,
and doing the shows. So I
yeah.
mean,
Definitely not an easy task. Definitely
no,
not for everybody. It might look the fit. You know what it is? Everything looks so easy once you get the finished product, no matter what it
and
is.
that's a
No
problem.
matter if it's any sport that you're watching, you sit on your couch and you're like, oh yeah, do this or do that, and it looks easy. But there's a lot of work and
Hmm.
time and effort and sacrifice that you put into the finished product that those people that are experts or that are sitting down critiquing have no idea
Hmm.
on what it takes. And it's funny to see a lot of these people migrate over to doing these different activities, including wrestling,
Hmm.
and they hit with a shock. Like, do you really think you're gonna step in a ring straight off your couch
Yeah.
and you're gonna do what we do?
Well, at the Showcase Ring Training Center, we do have an open policy, and it is. And I always tell people the first 6 to 8 weeks are the worst because your body is trying to adapt to the ring and adapt to conditioning. And no matter how many push-ups, sit-ups, and squats that you probably never did at your house, or if you're going to Planet Fitness and you start on January 1st, you're not going to be in ring conditioning. And
Yeah,
even the guys who are in a condition
yeah,
from various backgrounds, wrestling is just a different adaptability to the body.
yeah.
And I don't think people they don't respect it when it comes down to the demand, the sacrifices. So I mean, if he gets shit from the office on that, let's do the whole clip. And guess what? Not everything has to be politically correct.
So what you're saying is you would have backed up him slapping the shit out of this guy.
Slap the shit out of him is probably not what I would have done.
I mean, I've recently heard that I had some issues over the years that people would not appreciate so much.
Uh,
And the thing with me is Chris Blackheart is that the person and the passion that I have when it comes to pro wrestling
mhm,
is a lot different than the stuff that I do outside
mhm,
in some scenarios because
yes.
I'm as passionate outside in life, but not to the extent that I am when I'm trying to get my
Mhm,
point across in wrestling. And it doesn't matter how I get my point across. This is a business that was a tough business when I broke in.
mhm,
No one was giving me flowers and candy. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't appreciate that. So to that I say, I just don't give a shit. To that I say,
mhm,
if you don't like the style that I do my stuff, too bad.
mhm,
Everybody's got an opinion. It's just like butts. Everybody's got
mhm,
one. Your opinion doesn't affect me. I'll go home tonight and sleep like a baby. If you're not satisfied with the way I handle, we don't have to
mhm.
interact. Uh, and I heard that from your buddy. You had a conversation with this guy.
No, I had pretty good conversations
I'll
on
bring it up
Saturday.
here. People said we're
I
getting
did.
soft. People said we're getting soft.
All right,
You
so
know,
all right, I'll tell a brief story then. Okay, so for the second year in a row, I had a conversation with
with our buddy.
with a buddy from the South Shore.
With our buddy. I
Yeah,
mean, we're transparent here, Chris
yeah. All
Blackheart.
right, so
You've lost your ways. When we started the showcase part, what episode is this, Danny? 34
all
episodes
right. Some
ago.
days you got to come around, come
We
around. All
said
right, all right, all right,
exactly.
all right. Let me start. All right, let me start getting
Start
thinking of
over.
things. All right, all
Start over
right,
again.
all right. Let me think of the stuff that got me mad for the first episode.
Okay, first of all, we're talking about our friend, our good pal, Chad Epic,
Yes,
the private eye of New England
the
wrestling.
private
That's what we're
eye.
talking about.
Yep.
The investigator, the state police of
Of New England.
New
New
England
England Pro
wrestling and
Wrestling.
New England in general. Yep,
Yes. So,
that's what we're talking about.
so second year in a row, I had a conversation with him, and I talked to him, and I said, "Hey, you know, let's have a conversation." And I was talking to him just in general because, I think one of my first questions is, well, what's the problem here? I don't understand why you have a problem with Showcase. And I was nice. I said, he used to come down the training center when we did some rentals. We've had good conversations. He worked for us a little bit with the Midnight Express, Middlesex Express,
Yeah.
and then he kind of faded away doing his own stuff. So I'm like, I don't understand, what's the problem here? You obviously have my contact information. You can reach out anytime. Nothing.
All right, let's get straight
All
to the
right.
point, because Blackheart, let's make the story
So now
kick into
I'm
full
I'm
gear here.
talking to him. I'm trying to get information. I'm like, I don't, and then it was kind of like I was all set. The conversation, I wasn't really go anywhere. And then a hot tag happened
Yeah. Well,
out of the blue, and yeah, you were
Well, my name got
you
dropped.
you were fired up,
My name got
rightfully
dropped, and
so.
the funny thing is, just like anything else, people continue to learn about the way shit goes in pro wrestling. If you say it to one,
Mhm.
you have said it to all. and you went and messaged a friend of mine's that happened to think, again, like I told you on Saturday, that you're a fucking creep, and right away, within 30 seconds of her receiving that message, she forwarded it over to me. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I'm always online, I'm always around. If you have a question, you could come over and ask me personally. You could write to me, you could text me if you have my number, and you have a question, I'll be happy to answer. Uh, but that wasn't the case. You're trying to go behind my back to stir the pot where there's not a pot to be stirred.
And that's the part that I think is very aggravating.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the style of these guys that can you pull out Alan from The Hangover on screen there for me? Pull that up for me real quick there, Danny. That's the style of these guys that live in a fantasy world just like the movies. Just like Hollywood, you want to live your life in a fantasy world thinking that there's no consequences to your actions. That is fine. Literally this fucking guy looks like the homeless version of Alan from The Hangover. This guy, and I'm going to put this out there because a little birdie told me the story, almost got New England completely banned out of AEW wrestling.
Tell me more.
And you're trying to preach to people and you're trying to save the world from, I guess, yourself. You go and sneak into a locker room. You go and walk into the boss's office and you get your ass thrown out of the building. And this is AEW wrestling. Uninvited. We don't hear about that stuff.
Nope.
No one puts it out there.
So you can't snitch on yourself?
Well, he would have snitched on himself if he would have got everybody that has gotten opportunities in New England blackball, because that's how it happens. They're completely blackball a whole area. This would have been done thanks to the great, our friend, our buddy, our pal, Chad Epic, But he doesn't have anything to say about that. If he wants to come on and clear this, he's welcome to come here.
And ironically, I have
How
numerous
stupid
times,
is
even
that?
last year and even this year, I said, hey, you got stuff that you want to find information, reach out, give it to me, show it to me. We were help take down the stuff that you think is happening in New England.
I would have asked him personally,
yeah,
because like I said,
I
I like
did.
to ask people personally.
Yeah.
But since my mind was in other areas that day, I'm asking now because I'm sure this will get back to him.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, how stupid can you be to go into one of the major promotions, walking around freely, going into the boss's office, and getting your ass thrown out like a piece of garbage? If you want to come out and answer that, I'll be glad to listen to whatever you have to say, and we could clear whatever thing else he wants to talk about.
That's perfect.
I heard people say that we were getting soft.
All right, let me check my phone. Nothing there.
You're going to be waiting for a while, but hopefully from the time this goes on, we'll get an answer from somebody, If there's somebody out there that knows the guy and you want to tag him on this or call him right away and tell him, hey, they're talking about you. I just have a question. Again, how stupid can you be to go to one of the major wrestling promotions, try to blackball a whole area out of getting exposure and work just because you're a dumbass? Alan from The Hangover, homeless version. How great is that? You like that little segment, didn't you?
I did. I
enjoyed it very much.
I did enjoy it. Now you're inspiring me to pull up some other bad stuff from stupid people.
Go right ahead, man. I've heard this. I'm like, you guys started off hot. You guys were staring apart. You were talking, and then you became stale. You became soft. So I think,
It's like every show. It goes waves up and down.
No, yeah. It usually happens when we're by ourselves that we could go out. We're not focused on a guest and talking about that guest's
the guest
history
is not getting any heat.
And giving the guest the respect that he deserves when he comes on here. But now we don't have a guest, so now we can shit on people, and I'm sure they're gonna shit on us. So
yeah. Well, it's funny, like walking around at the this weekend. Talked to a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while, have general conversation, cleaned up some stories that they have. It's amazing when you actually have conversations with people that the truth comes out.
Yeah.
because we don't, no matter what happens, good, bad, or indifferent, from whatever scenario happens between, matches, misunderstanding, rumors, you normally don't have a conversation.
Hmm.
But I think and I said this weekend, and I said it a couple of times last week when I was talking to people, is communicate. Have
Yeah.
it, because I guarantee if you actually talk to that person, it's either A, you're going to clear the air and figure out some misunderstanding, or the other part is you're going to totally disagree with it. And usually half the time it's rumors anyway.
Yeah.
Unless there's two people that they're the same situation and it's about them. But usually those people, they let it simmer down for a while and they have, a conversation, and then you don't have to agree, but you can,
Well, sometimes you
can't
gotta
go
agree to disagree.
right.
So
Which is nothing wrong with that either.
that's completely fine when it comes to my my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Speaking of we giving shit and shitting on us back, we
That's
are.
been. Oh, wait, are you going the national story again from last?
No, no,
All
I'm
right,
not
all
going.
right.
Yeah, no,
Because
that
anytime anyone says anything about shitting, I think of Vince shitting
that's some
on somebody.
billionaire
All
shitting.
right.
That's different. For
Yeah,
different.
I do. Every time
For
someone says, I think of Vince shitting
for
on
for a
somebody.
different story,
All
I'm
right.
talking about we're 933 subscribers on
Oh, well, there.
YouTube, and looking at the analytics on YouTube, a lot of people that watch us are not subscribed. So that could
Come
only
on.
mean one thing. Either we get a lot of haters that are watching on the closet,
Oh, they're not haters. They're hiders.
they're
That's even a
hiding.
word. They're hiders.
Subscribe so that way you could,
All right. So what are they? Okay. What story would people want us to tell when we hit 1,000? What is the story out there, good, bad, or indifferent, from either involves yourself, me, a New England? What is the story that people want to hear that they never heard, or there's rumors about that when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll actually have?
yeah.
So comment on the feed, send us a messenger. Everything's SP Wrestling. Say, hey, I want to hear this story. I want to subscribe, because I'm sure there's stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I love having conversations with people, especially when it's clearing up rumors and misconceptions.
Kind of like Paul Roma. He had some things to say about WWF recently.
I saw that I did not see the comments. Did you read them?
There was something about guys asking for favors in return of getting bookings and pushes and getting booked. As you know, back then, the more you worked, the more money you made.
Yeah.
As far as even road shows and stuff like that. So he did mention that there was a lot of guys during that time that were kind of like suggested to do favors in order to be booked on all those shows
Mhm.
and in order to get a push on television, which we've known the business is about that.
Mhm.
The business has always been like that. It's not just pro wrestling, the entertainment, movies, music. There's always been a backstory
Mhm.
on how certain people get certain pushes, no pun intended.
Mhm.
But yeah, he brought that out, and I think Mario Mancini's name was mentioned on that story. I'll have to get into it, and then we'll go over it in detail. I just mentioned it because we were talking about
Mhm.
people clearing the air and people coming out and talking about certain things.
Well, and I did have conversations with people. I said, hey, are you guys having an anti-WrestleMania party? Nobody. No one that I ran into and I said that
Oh,
to.
they're not watching WrestleMania
No,
anymore.
no, they are. I asked them if
Oh.
they weren't because they're all upset about Vince. And,
No, I would
he should
figure
be getting out.
no one's watching. I mean,
No one.
Triple H is still booking some of this stuff, so
Nobody boy. Well, even that, like there was something came up about Stephanie that she knew and
yeah.
he knew. Put it this way, do you know what everybody does? Like, I don't know what you did all day.
Yeah.
You don't know what I did all day. My
Yeah.
wife doesn't know. I mean, she questions what I do all the day,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the idea is you don't know what everybody does every day,
Yeah.
24/7.
Every hour, every second of
Yeah,
the
you,
fucking day.
you
Yeah.
don't. So to make Triple H or Stephanie accountable for her fathers or
Well,
stepfather.
going back that far, Triple H wasn't even involved in the office. He was just a
Well,
wrestler.
and people forget that.
Yeah.
And you don't see everything,
Yeah.
especially as a talent. You don't see everything. And if you're in the back office, you don't see what the talent does.
Yeah.
So to make one person accountable or multiple people accountable for other people, you got to be accountable for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Different times, man. Different times and different scenarios. Uh, you know, That's the world we're living in. But we're getting close to that time this week. We've been rambling a lot.
No, no. Do you know? I think we touched some stuff. We put some plugs out there, and I think the main thing is there's wrestling this week, and there's wrestling coming up. I mean, the showcase schedule. We're going to put up stuff for the next couple of months coming up.
Yeah.
The schedules are coming up for Powerhouse and Crown Royal.
Yeah.
I always say Crown Royal.
Yeah, it's Royal Crown.
Royal Crown, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of wrestling out there. There's a lot of new faces coming up there, and there's a lot of opportunity for especially guys on either our banner. They're doing some good stuff. So reach out to them, hit them on social media, support them, go to the shows, because literally you never know who's going to be that breakout star. You never know who's going to show up on Raw, SmackDown, AEW, TNA.
Yeah, you never know.
You just never know.
You never know. I mean, you might get people uninvited to show up to AEW. Who knows?
That is true.
Ah.
Oh, that's the story coming up.
Well, yeah.
We'll do that in about 2 weeks.
Who knows about all that? But before we leave, again, touching up on our plugs, SP Wrestling on all our social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You been doing the dancing again or not?
No, we're doing some TikTok. Some reason the stuff ironically, we've been uploading a lot of The Educator. A lot of that stuff has been cut. I don't know why, but.
Yep, TikTok, all that stuff. Go check us out there. ShowcaseProWrestling.com for all the tickets for coming March 2nd at the Training Center in Woonsocket, and the big one, March 15, March anniversary 17 at the Taunton BFW Hall. Matches will be posted. Everything will be up on our socials and the website. Go get your tickets now. It's usually a sellout. You don't want to get left out on that one. And then this Saturday night, which is basically a day now from now, Royal Crown Wrestling results, Boston, Massachusetts, 7:30 p.m. bell time, RoyalCrownWrestling.com. Go check that out. Go see all our events that are lined up, all the people that we have coming in. The big one, the debut this Saturday night. Savio Vega and myself taking on the Union. Get your tickets for that. Powerhouse Wrestling returns to Leominster March 23rd, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. bell time, with the real one Enzo Amore and Mr. Kennedy Ken Anderson. All that and more coming up. Our April dates will be up shortly. You want to go check that out. That's all I have for this week.
That's
I
it.
think Saturday, I think I'm in the mood for a nice deadlift.
Oh, yes, we forgot to plug it. Dan Badandi is coming back from his, we won't say from what. He had a slight injury, but he is, how much are you challenging left? Is it the deadlift challenge with Dan Badandi in the
400
Woonsocket?
if we can get the weight.
400 pounds. He's going to, so if you
Well, that's next week.
Next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's next week.
March
this
2nd.
February,
March 2nd,
this has been like the
that's-
longest month.
That's
Yeah,
next
it's-
week. I mean, that's
What,
next-
you can go to Woonsocket Saturday night at 7:07. I won't be there. Dan won't be there. Don Vega will
I'll
be in Boston.
I'll be in Boston this Saturday night, Royal Crown Wrestling at Results in Boston. But March 2nd, we'll be back in Woonsocket at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center Arena. The Beast, the Bionic Beast, Dan Badandi, open deadlift challenge, 400 pounds. We'll see who steps up to the plate there. All that and more. SP Wrestling, ShowcaseProWrestling.com. Chris Blackheart, what's your socials? He doesn't have none. But we'll see you guys next week right here. Again, Thursday live for the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega. This is the boss, Chris Blackheart. We will catch you down the road in the Showcase Pod.